Take one more look at this beautiful view. A little exploring of some famous Tbilisi landmarks. Welcome back, everyone. Tbilisi, Georgia. We are here in Tbilisi, Georgia, once again out on Liberty Square, and we're in the same spot exactly to where we ended our last video. The video of our long travel from Puebla in Mexico to here in Tbilisi, Georgia. In fact, I'm sitting at the exact same spot, and I started filming this video immediately after I filmed the outro to that video. But today, I want to do a little exploring of some famous Tbilisi landmarks, and especially because it is such a nice day today. Beautiful day, sunny, not a cloud in the sky, and I think that's what we're going to do today. So, come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video, enjoy. So we are here, of course, on Liberty Square, one of the famous landmarks here in Tbilisi. There are a few more that we want to check out, and in order to do that, we're going to head off in that direction, off of Liberty Square, and we'll take a little walk. There's a nice little walk down the hill that way, and we should end up over in a really interesting little neighborhood that will then allow us to check out a really cool bridge, the Peace Bridge, which is like a really cool designed pedestrian bridge across the river here. So let's head out. Let's head out that way. Go for a little walk. Try not to get run over by all the traffic here. I had heard in my research about Tbilisi that the traffic here is a little nuts because the drivers are a little nuts here in Tbilisi, and they have not disappointed. They're a little bit nuts. I don't know if it's as crazy traffic and as crazy drivers as like Lima in Peru. That so far has been my gold standard for crazy traffic and crazy drivers. Like right here, for example, this crosswalk, someone actually just stopped for me to cross, which, let me tell you, in Lima, that would not happen. Anyway, I think we continue on this way. We'll head down the hill, and we'll check out this cool little neighborhood down here with a few very interesting landmarks. And this part of Tbilisi is a really cool, I haven't explored too much of the city, but this part of the city that's right here by Liberty Square, the sort of old Tbilisi, it's very cool because there are some, very modern architecture, like this big glass, I don't even know what it is, hotel, I think, over here, perhaps. But also, like, more of the old school architecture here. These really cool buildings that I've seen in different places so far that have, like, this second floor balcony. It's like a very iconic look of buildings that I've seen around like this neighborhood and a few of the other places that I've explored. These older buildings. Also, like in the apartment where we're staying, there are some paintings on the walls that have, they're paintings of buildings like this with these really cool, like wooden second floor balconies. Now, I have heard, I don't know if, what parts of the neighborhood fall under this, but I've heard that there are like certain laws in Tbilisi, in certain neighborhoods, that protect like architecture. So there are certain buildings that, look older, and they look that way because they are protected. And that's one of the reasons that in some neighborhoods you find like some buildings that like look a little bit run down. Like this building across the street right here has a bit of like paint peeling on it. And that's something that I've seen in different places around Tbilisi, but I'm told that when you see something like that, it's usually because there is a whole process with like the government, because the building itself is preserved, to do any kind of like renovation, even including just like painting it. There's a whole process. And because of that, sometimes for property owners, it is a little tough for them to do certain renovations. But still, I don't know. It's a very cool like mix of architecture so far in the city. It's something that is entirely new to me, at least. Today we're heading over this way to a neighborhood that is over here along the river. There's a river like that runs right here a few blocks out in front of us. And up there on top of the hill you see a beautiful like Orthodox church. These things are like all over Tbilisi. Really old, beautiful Orthodox churches all over the area. Very cool. All like up on a hill somewhere, because Tbilisi is a very hilly city. And today we're actually going to be going up to the top of one of the famous hills here in Tbilisi to see a very famous monument, a statue up there. But it is a major hike to get up there, and I'm going to do it the lazy way. I'm going to take a cable car. Beautiful architecture around here. Really amazing. There's lots of, like I said, Orthodox churches, and also like old walls, fortifications, lots of like medieval ruins of different fortresses and things all over this city. It's a very cool city. So we start here. We start here in this beautiful little plaza, right down here at the bottom of the hill from the big one of the big hills over there, but at the bottom of the little hill from Liberty Square that's over there. And this statue is the statue of Berikaoba, which celebrates a like folk theater tradition here in Georgia in the spring, when people would put like in the springtime, I guess folk theater groups put on like shows of like dancing and theater and whatnot. And this I like this statue a lot, actually. It's people just dancing around. It's a beautiful statue. It's really cool. There's a bunch of people here, are like taking pictures, and just a really nice statue, and a good place to start our little tour here of some of the more like touristy things, at least in this neighborhood. This is a pretty touristy neighborhood, but I wanted to see these things. These are pretty famous like landmarks, and a lot of them are actually right down this street here. Right here along the street, there are some very cool statues. You can see them going all the way down there. You can see some people taking pictures with the statues. A very cool, very iconic location and attraction here in Tbilisi. This little like alley, pedestrian walk, very famous spot. And right up here on the left here is the Gabriadze Theater, very famous marionette theater where they do marionette shows. It's old, super famous, And you can see the entrance right here. Theater Gabriadze. You can see it's a little bit crowded right here around this because attached to this Gabriadze building is the famous clock tower. This clock tower here, once we come around the corner here, be able to see it better. It's this very, very eccentric, very quirky clock tower. It's a very famous site here in Tbilisi, attached to this very, very cool building. Also right here is the oldest, I believe this is the oldest church here in Tbilisi. This is the Anchishati Basilica, the oldest church in Tbilisi. Very small, very modest church, but very cool. I asked in there if we were allowed to. I saw some other people taking pictures. I asked if I was allowed to film. They said yeah. So, got a little shot of the inside. And like you can see, you know, it is very, very old. Just a very, very old, very small, but very cool church, and historic as the oldest church in Tbilisi. Now, one thing I want to check out here as we get close to the river. We're actually like right at the river right here. Tbilisi has a river that runs through it. It is a long, narrow city. Like most cities in mountain valleys are long and narrow. Tbilisi is one as well, and it runs along a river. This is something we saw all over our trip in Latin America, especially in like mountainous places like in Ecuador and Colombia. Like Medellin, for example, in Colombia, has a long river that runs through it. And it's basically the same setup as Tbilisi. There's a long river, like you can see right here across the highway. There's a highway that runs along the river. The railroad tracks actually are sort of on the other side here. They kind of run along the route of the river as well. In Medellin, they have an above-ground metro that runs along the river. Here in Tbilisi, it's different. They have an underground metro, so they can sort of just like run it wherever they want. Let's go across and take a look at the river real quick, if we can get across this road without getting run over. Also, that super cool building up there, right there on top of the hill, on the other side of the river, is the State Palace of Ceremonies. Very, very cool. Cool thing about this building is it's actually a pretty new construction. It was built in 2009, I think. It's a neoclassical style, so it's meant to look old, but it was built very recently. It was a former presidential palace, now the State Palace of Ceremonies. It is loud on this road. Beautiful river running through mountain valley, mountains on all sides. The highway runs along the river, the main highway, because of course, it just makes for an easy route. And up this way, the bridge, the famous Peace Bridge. There it is right there, the Peace Bridge. It's very cool, and we're gonna go across it, but I think to get onto it, we actually have to be on the other side of the highway. So here it is up close, the Peace Bridge. Very cool design. This like, I don't know, this big steel and glass thing on top. It's very, I don't know, it just has a very cool flow to it. And like I said, it's only a pedestrian bridge. There's no car traffic or anything across this bridge. There are other bridges, like the one you can see down there a few blocks, and the other one that was up by where we went across just to see the river up there. But this one is only pedestrian up here on the Peace Bridge. And from here, actually, if you look right across the river, there is that glass building right there, and you can see the cable cars going in and out. That is the cable car station, or one of the cable car stations here in Tbilisi, that will get us on the cable car that will take us up to the top of the hill there. And at the top of the hill, we will see that statue right there. That is the famous Mother of Georgia statue. It's a little hard to see from down here because this is as far as my camera will zoom in, but it is an enormous statue up there, the Mother of Georgia. But before we check all that out, we cross the famous Peace Bridge right here. Very cool bridge. Not just a very cool like landmark with a pretty amazing design, you know, almost like a work of art right here, but it is a dedicated pedestrian bridge, which I really like. The city of Tbilisi so far as I can tell, is a pretty pedestrian-friendly city. It seems to be pretty easy to walk around, although it is very hilly, so you're going to get a workout for sure walking around it. But it seems to be a very pedestrian-friendly city with like not just pedestrian-friendly, but also like pretty good public transportation, from what I can tell so far. There is a underground metro with many stops. There's also a train station that has trains that run out to like towns and smaller cities outside of Tbilisi. And there are a lot of buses, public city buses, that run around and supplement the metro. A very, very cool city that, like I said, seems to have very good walkability and public transportation, which I always like. I always like that in a city. That's another thing I've noticed so far about Tbilisi walking around. There are lots of little parks. Well, not just always little, some of them are very big. But there are a lot of parks, a lot of plazas. It just has a very, very cool feel. Not that we haven't seen plenty of parks and plazas in the cities that we've been in Latin America. There are plenty. But I don't know. Something about this city feels different. Obviously, it's a completely different part of the world. And the parks and plazas that I've seen here so far, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I think something about the city being so hilly, you know, and when you look off into the distance, there's like a big hill just in the background with like stairs going up it and like an old, like all this like very old road construction with these like viaducts. It's very, very cool. It actually reminds me, in a way, of like Cuenca in Ecuador. Another historically preserved city, very hilly, with lots of beautiful parks and plazas. Looks like there is a bit of a line here. But we will wait it out. We'll wait it out because I really want to get up there. We could definitely, like, there is a stairs hike up there. There's also a road that goes up there, so theoretically you get a car or you took a Bolt or something, or an Uber, you could get up there. But I think the cable car is the best way.
നീ ശരിക്കും നോക്ക് എന്നാലേ അല്ലാതെ
Beautiful views from the cable car on the way up, and beautiful views from up here as well. There, the Bridge of Peace, right there, and the park where we were. Beautiful. You can even see from up here, I think. Let's see. Yeah, you can see Liberty Square. Just there, Liberty Square, the statue of St. George, the big golden statue. You can see from up here on the other hill, that bigger hill, that's at the end of this row of hills, there's like a funicular railway. I don't know if you can see it or not. It goes up, there's another way to get up, and on the other side of that hill, there is like another cable car that runs down, ends up down in like another part of the city. Take one more look at this beautiful view. There is that that big, like really big church, the one that you can see up on the hill from down on the street. And then also there, the palace of or Palace of Ceremonies, I think, governmental Palace of Ceremonies that we saw. Across the river here, that cool building right there that looks kind of like a bunch of flower petals, that's the actual like government, Tbilisi like central government administration building. That's basically like where you go to get residency permits, and like I think you go to get like driver's licenses and things there. It's basically like the main governmental building. It's a very, very cool design. There it is there. Mother of Georgia. A very, very cool statue also. She's like very tall. She's holding a sword. Mother of Georgia. Awesome. Very, very cool. There's nowhere to get a view of the front of the statue, Mother of Georgia. I mean, there's plenty of shots of it and videos people have taken with drones and other cameras, but from here on the ground, right at the base of the statue, you can tell just how big the statue is. I mean, here, hold on a second. There's a couple people walking right next to it, so they're right there. It's a big statue. It's a big statue. And you can definitely see it from all over down there in Tbilisi. And down here, there is beautiful views of the city, but also on the backside here, there's the other valley down here. It is also very, very beautiful. On the other side of the hill, there's like this little tiny valley that goes in between these two rows of hills here. It's really, really nice. Very beautiful. But I think that's gonna do it for this video. And from here, at the foot of the Mother of Georgia statue, we're gonna end the video. That was very cool. I'm very glad we came up here on the cable car. It's definitely worth it. It ended up being about, I think for a round trip, up and down, it ended up being about like 7 or 8 lari, which is like, I don't know, three $3 US, $4, something like that. It's not very much. Definitely worth it to come up here, get this beautiful view, be able to see the statue, the famous Mother of Georgia statue up close. Very cool. But like I said, that's gonna do it for this video. There's plenty more coming from here in Tbilisi, and we'll see you in the next one.